Welcome back to Winners and Losers. Of course, this is the show that looks at the highs and the lows around world football this weekend. No Chris Handball today. He's still absent without leave. He's got some sort of weird tooth infection, illness. He's not a well man. So please go and send him some get well messages. Instead, we've got Zach Jalab joining us on the show today for what can only be described as one of the most insane weekends of Premier League football that I can ever remember. There's so much to chat about, but we're starting with the talking point because it has to be, and I mean has to be the handball rule. What is going on, Shalab?
I wish I could tell you, mate, to be honest, because I've got no clue. The new handball rule has been an absolute disaster after 3 major incidents this weekend. The new interpretation of the handball rule follows changes implemented by the IFAB, which is the International Football Association Board, and is way harsher than prior for accidental handballs that strike the arm below the shoulder. Where does the shoulder begin? Who knows anymore?
Nobody knows.
But look, let's start with the first incident of the weekend. The Neil Maupay incident against Manchester United, in which Maupay blocked the shot with his arm, or he blocked the shot of a goal-bound shot by Harry Maguire in the last minutes with his arm in an unnatural position. Now, the real controversy here was that Chris Kavanagh had blew his whistle for the full time, only for VAR to then overturn the decision. Now, in my opinion, that's probably the right call. His arm was in an unnatural position, and VAR had probably given him a call during the game. It happened in the game, so I was okay. But Joe, how did you feel about United in general?
Oh, we were pretty poor. I would say we were very, very lucky to come away with 3 points from that game. I thought Brighton deserved to win it. I think they hit the post 5 or 6 times in the match, the most in a Premier League game ever, or at least since Opta Stats began. I think we looked really unfit. We looked leggy. We looked rusty. We're struggling to put together patterns of play in an attacking sense. But, and I've said this on multiple shows, I'm biting my tongue about Manchester United until October the 5th. We are in the final week of the window by the time this video goes live. And I've got a sneaking suspicion Manchester United are going to do some madness. I don't want to say too much, but I've got a sneaking suspicion something mad might happen.
That, to be honest, mate.
Yeah, but if it doesn't, then there's going to be serious rants happening on serious amount of shows over the next few weeks. But despite that, let's move on from Manchester United and the Maupay one, because I agree with you. I think that was right. To some absolute disastrous whiffers from some Premier League officials over the weekend. Let's start with Everton versus Crystal Palace, because Everton got their winner after a Richarlison penalty, thanks to Digne's header hitting Joel Ward on the hand, and it was like 3 yards away, man. It was no distance at all. Unbelievably harsh. He can't move his hand out the way. It's not in an unnatural position. It's not as if he's deliberately blocked it. I don't understand it at all. I think it's absolutely disgraceful, to be totally honest with you, and it's no wonder that Roy Hodgson was spitting with anger.
I just don't understand how we've allowed it to happen. I don't understand how the Premier League, the referees, the coaches, the managers, the players, I don't know how we've allowed this type of situation, which we have virtually in every match at the moment, to occur, because the rules of football are important. One of the beauties for me of the rules of football was basically everyone knew them, because most people have played some sort of football, even if it was only in the schoolyard.
However, there was another, even worse decision still to come. The whole Eric Dyer fiasco. A 95th minute penalty being awarded to Newcastle after a header from Andy Carroll inadvertently hits the back of Eric Dyer's arm as he's facing away from the ball. There is no way, unless he's a time-bending Doctor Who freak, that he knows to block that ball. Absolutely no chance. He's 1 foot away. There's nothing deliberate there. His hand's not in an unnatural position. I don't understand it, Jalab. What's your opinion on this absolute tripe?
Mate, I think everyone is in complete agreement. No one understands it. And the thing is, some people have actually criticised VAR, which I don't think is actually the problem here. VAR have just done what the rule says. But the issue is the rule is wrong. The rule doesn't give any kind of discrepancy between something that is literally 3 yards out. It's impossible, and it's not a deliberate handball. It's something which has to be changed, and to be honest, the Sky Sports pundits are all in agreement with us.
It is an absolute disgrace. I'm absolutely certain that rule is going to change in the next couple of weeks, in the sense of the interpretation of the rule. There's no way the players, managers, coaches are going to accept that. Forget us as pundits. It is not right.
It's spoiling football. Don't know if it's the rules, the VAR, or just the refs.
I think it's
a combination of all
it?
of them. And for me, it's just spoiling football.
Moving on to our first and only losers this week. The game only finished about an hour ago on the TV behind me. What an absolute blockbuster Manchester City loss that was, Jalab.
Indeed, and I think everyone was quite shocked as Man City lost 5-2 to Leicester City at home in a game that saw Jamie Vardy score a hat-trick and City give away 3 penalties. Now, statistically, Man City dominated the game with 72% possession, 16 shots to Leicester's 7, but it was a defensive mess from Man City. That was their downfall. Laporte, who is yet to reach full fitness, was on the bench and he was sorely missed. So the starting back 4 was Walker, Garcia, Ake and Mendy. Now, only new boy Ake didn't give away a penalty on the day, which saw Man City become the first side in Premier League history to concede 3 goals from the penalty spot in a single game. And to be quite honest, every single one was a penalty. I had a bit of a list there. Every single one was a penalty. But it's also the first time in 686 games as a manager, Pep Guardiola has seen his side concede 5 goals. It is also the first time in 438 games at the Etihad Stadium that Man City have shipped 5 goals in any competition, a long time ago. Now, City are rumoured to have agreed a £60 million deal for centre-back Ruben Dias of Benfica fame. However, Pep was remaining tight-lipped after the game.
Just one on Ruben Dias, because he's almost announced his own arrival. Benfica have last night. Can you tell us anything on that, and what will he bring to that defence?
The club didn't tell me anything.
He'd like
Not
it?
yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
As dog as Manchester City were on the day, Jamie Vardy, he has to be given an awful lot of credit, doesn't he? 33 years old now, 2 from the spot, 1 beautiful little back heel though. It was like watching Thierry Henry, wasn't it? Do you know my favourite stat of the game was that he scored 3 goals and Vardy only completed 5 passes? How is that even possible? Absolutely ridiculous. I can't understand it. He is a total pain in the arse for Pep Guardiola. He scored 6 league goals against the Spaniards, Manchester City. That's twice as many as any other Premier League player. This is also 2 more than any other player against Guardiola sides in European top-flight history. And get this one. This is another absolute blockbuster stat. He scored 2 hat-tricks against Pep now. No other player other than Lionel Messi has ever scored a hat-trick against the Pep Guardiola side. So Messi is the only one other than Vardy to do it, and Vardy's done 2. I thought Leicester City were kind of weathering City's attack, weren't they? Because like you said, City did have the best of it, at least in the opening. But then once they'd weathered it, the City backline just crumbled yet again. As £450 million been spent on this backline, and we saw a performance like that. I have to pick out James Maddison's goal as probably the best of the bunch. Sumptuous, wasn't it? Absolute top bins. Worldy. Great to see him back and firing on all cylinders. Whatever you can do, Jack Grealish, James Maddison can do too. Leicester City have now won each of their opening 3 games to a top-flight season for the first time in their club's history. And no wonder Brendan Rodgers felt like he got his tactics spot on.
But really pleased for the players today, because for them as well to adapt to how I've asked them to play for 18 months was also really good from their perspective, and like I said, they deserve all the credit.
Moving on to our winners now, slightly, and it's West Brom. Why is that, Jay?
Yeah, I didn't know whether to put West Brom in the winners, in the losers, where to put them, but you know what? A point against a Chelsea team that spent over £200 million this summer, I think not many people would have expected, so I have put them in the winners. The baggies coming up trumps, but this match was the definition of the old cliche, a game of 2 halves, because in the first 45 minutes, Chelsea were all over the place. 3-0 down after 27 minutes against West Bromwich Albion. West Bromwich Albion. And it was Callum Robinson who really capitalised on some honking Chelsea mistakes at the time. 2 goals before, I think it was Carl Bartley, wasn't it, who got the third at the back stick. Robinson's 4 goal involvements in the Premier League, get this one, have all come against big 6 sides. He scored 3 times against Chelsea and he got an assist against Manchester United. Now he just needs to step up, start doing it against some other sides. But as positive as that opening 45 minutes was for West Bromwich Albion, I just want to touch upon Chelsea because every goal they conceded was a disgraceful individual error, wasn't it? Firstly, it was Marcos Alonso with that weird little header back inside. I don't know what he was trying to do there. Then it was Thiago Silva just vibing on the ball. Nothing, no defending, just vibes from him. And finally, it was Alonso again, wasn't it? Back stick, losing his man. Very, very sloppy. And I think... Look, you can blame the individual errors in this game because they were disastrous and Chelsea weren't terrible overall. But there is clearly a little bit of a wider issue going on for the Blues here because they failed to keep a clean sheet in 20 of their 21 Premier League away games under Lampard, which is just not good enough if you're going to put in a title challenge, which I'm sure Blues fans are hoping to do this season. And no surprise that Lampard, after the game, was not happy.
You can't legislate for pure mistakes, which they were today. And then it gives you a really difficult game to get back in. So I can laud character because we showed character and persistence, but we didn't need to if we did things properly in the game.
Well, thankfully, the second half was a lot better. As you said, it was definitely a game of 2 halves, as Chelsea ended up bringing on all of their attacking talent from the bench, with Callum Hudson-Odoi and Giroud taking the field, with Marcos Alonso and Mateo Kovacic coming off. It never in a million years did I think there would be a world where Callum Hudson-Odoi, Tammy Abraham, Olivier Giroud, Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, Mason Mount were all on the pitch at the exact same time, yet
Crazy.
It happened on Saturday night. Now, the Blues, in the end, mustered 22 shots with 10 on target, peppering the goal, and the majority coming in the second of the half as we tried to batter the door down. Now, Mason Mount got the first of them from outside the box. A lovely goal. I do think the keeper should at least try and dive.
Boots.
But
Boots,
it is a fantastic shot from him. The second is some really nice play between Callum Hudson-Odoi and Kai Havertz to get us back into the game. And Tammy Abraham following up in the 93rd minute brought the game to 3-3. However, it was worrying signs for West Brom as they become the first English top flight side to concede 11 goals in their opening 3 league games since Arsenal way back in 1963-1964. Bilic, though, thought that his side were unlucky to not get a handball in the build-up to Chelsea's goal.
You look like you got 3 points, but for a very last-ditch goal in which it looks like there might have been a handball in the build-up.
It doesn't look like, it doesn't look like, and it's not that it might be a handball. But what do you want me to do now? To say what I want to say and then to find me again?
So that's it for today's episode of Winners and Losers. What a weekend of football it is, and it's not done there, is it? Liverpool versus Arsenal is coming to your screens tonight, and I'm hoping to do a reaction to that game that will come out tomorrow morning. Fingers crossed it's another stunner. If it's boring, it won't happen. Zach Jalab, anything else you want to plug?
Well, why not head over to Snapchat and make sure you check out the Football Daily Snapchat story where we bring you guys stories, transfer gossip, news every single day.
Yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys. See you later. Bye.